What's up, spectators? Welcome back to another episode of Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Last time, we all came to conclusion that Roland is the most likely suspect because she's got the key to the circuit breaker, which explains the time discrepancy in the security footage. So now it's time to interrogate her. Yes, I heard all about the case from Justine Darling here. Had I committed the murder, it would have taken place inside the holding cell. But I couldn't have moved the body. I never went into the prison. I was caught up in my work. Up until the show, I was stuck in my office. Check up on it if you like. You'll find there's no record of me entering the prison. I don't know what reasoning you had, but I can say for sure. I cannot be the killer. But Missile barked at you, pal. You gotta be the culprit. Oh heavens, it's not possible. I already told you I never went to the prison. If you think I'm lying, why don't you check the records? She wants us to check the records. She does seem confident. For now, all we can do is listen to her and try to draw out more information. I do hope you understand, Mr. Edgeworth. Heard all about the case.
Hold it.
From Judge Courtney? Are you two close? As close as fish in water? Are you jealous? Jealous? On the first day of the investigation, she filled us in on the situation. In exchange for our cooperation, she explained the details of the case to us. How could you say that? You're so mean, Justine Darling. The truth is the truth. I believe it should be told as such. For some reason, those two seem kinda scary. I was gonna say like chummy. Had I committed the murder, it would have taken place inside the holding cell.
Hold it.
The murder occurred inside the cell. How could you be so certain about that? Well, everywhere else would be under surveillance, right? And the victim's blood was found there, too. That blood was actually from when he was struck by Albert, but I don't think it's necessary to inform her of this fact. That doesn't mean it's proven. You do know that. But I see no contradictions in assuming the crime scene was at the detention center. But I couldn't have moved the body. I never went into the prison.
Hold it.
You never went into the prison. Do you have proof of this? My, can't you wait for me to finish? I was caught up in my work. Up until the show, I was stuck in my office.
Hold it.
You were in your office the whole time. Nothing strange happened? Nope, nothing at all. Were you looking for something? I'm not too good at tidying up. I always forget where I put everything. Like the weights. The other day, I even lost track of an important piece of evidence. How could you have made such a grave error? If someone were to take something from me, I wouldn't even notice it until the entire year. I guess it will be hard to attack with the key to the breaker room. On the day of the incident, I was working in my office and searching for lost items. In other words, I couldn't have gone to the prison, even if I had wanted to. Check up on it if you like. You'll find there's no record of me entering the prison.
Hold it.
You did not enter the prison from the entrance. But what if there was another route? Oh my, are you suggesting something like a secret passage? I don't know if anything like that exists. It is my firm belief you did possess an alternate route. That route was neither the entrance nor a secret passage. The route you used was from here. Oh wow, that was scary. That, if I caught that in editing, that actually went on for like 10 seconds. I was convinced it was done. I was like, okay, that really sucks. But where were we? Oh yes, the warden's office. So she would go through here. Wait. To get to the detention center? Or to dump the body? It would be the courtyard, wouldn't it? I feel like that's what they're trying to tell me. The barbed wire fence? You would have moved nightly to your office first. This office leads directly to the garden side of the courtyard. If you had moved through here and past the barbed wire fence, you would have arrived at the prison without passing through the entrance or a tunnel. I wonder what Mr. Edgeworth is saying. Haven't you noticed? There's a high voltage current running through the fence. You turned it off. Yeah, obviously she couldn't have passed through it like that. The current to the fence could be switched off at the breaker room. And you were the only one who had the key, Warden Roland. Most amusing, however, the breaker room is located on the prison side of the courtyard. Wasn't it off to escort the elephant? How would the warden have accessed it from the detention center? Ah, quite right! Got you there, Mr. Edgeworth. That's... Oh my god! Is Sowit involved? Cause Sowit doesn't... He had a broken bracelet, so he could also navigate wherever he wants. Isn't that true? Is Sowit involved in this? If there is no record of her passing through the prison entrance, it would not have been possible for her to turn off the fence's breaker. But Warden Roland was the only one who had access. Don't let this faze you, Miles. But if I don't have a solution for this, she'll get away. Now, Uncle Ray never said don't think, you know. It's just not good to be so stubborn about it, that's all. But no matter how you think about it, Warden Roland couldn't have done this alone. Prosecutor Edgeworth, if you have failed to come up with a new So there was someone else. I am not amused, interrupting my judgment only to be silent. Without thinking, I just blurted out objection. I have to answer. I won't let this end here. My reasoning is not over yet. So how did she use the breaker without leaving the detention center? It's perfectly possible. With this method, what made it possible to turn off the breaker? Her position as the warden? I guess that's possible if she had a guard do it, but... she had an accomplice? Or the timing of the incident? Ooh. Couldn't it be the timing? Because the elephant, right? The elephant had to come in. The timing of the incident made it possible. The timing of the incident tripped the breaker? Indeed. So just how was the breaker tripped? But the elephant! Okay, we want to use the breaker alone, which means it was indeed impossible for the warden to have used the breaker. There was one way she could have done it. So it is an accomplice. Is it Sowit though? Am I right about Sowit and the broken bracelet? Is that why it's still in my evidence? It was indeed impossible for one person, but what if there were two? Exactly. Just what I expected from you, Miles. To get it wrong first and then get it right? You had an accomplice on the prison side. Enough! I am disappointed in you, Prosecutor Edgeworth. What's that, pal? You making fun of Mr. E? The inmates at this prison all wear bracelets. It's Frank. It's frickin' Frank. If they try go where they please, they will set off the alarm. No, they won't. Not even Frank. So you've noticed, this is a prison after all. Not only the prisoners, but the guards too are under constant scrutiny. So why didn't anyone notice Elbert? The only ones allowed to move around freely are the animals. And they certainly could not have used the breaker. But it's still possible that a person did it. Excluding the inmates and the guards, just what kind of person would you say it was? We can't exclude the inmates and guards just yet. There was only one person, one whose movements was not restricted. This evidence shows that there was someone in the prison who can move around freely. Ah, finally getting to use this.
Take that!
That is... It looks like the bracelet worn by the prisoners. This belongs to a certain model inmate, and it's broken. What? Just who on earth does this belong to? Frank Sowit, the warden's favorite inmate. Don't you think it's strange? He managed to keep this hidden while he moved around freely in his daily prison life. Golly, when you think about it, it shouldn't be possible. I'd hazard a guess that this was because he was a special case. Just like Sir Doggett in the special cell. The prosecutor's statement is mere conjecture. You can find out by simply asking Sawit himself. It is my firm belief that Mr. Sawit and Warden Roland were partners in crime. Due to their collaboration, another route surfaces. The real route by which Knightley's body was moved to the prison. There were two obstacles that needed to be dealt with. The security camera in front of Knightley's cell, and the electric fence in the courtyard. Both these problems could have been solved with a single stroke, by having Sawit switch off the breakers in the breaker room. Mr. Edgeworth, could you wait one moment? Do you still intend to deny it, Warden Roland? I give in. I confess. Warden Roland! This cannot be! It's just as he says. Frank Sawit and I were partners in crime. No way! You did it, Mr. Edgeworth. Well done, Miles. At last, we have the real culprit cornered. Like Mr. Edgeworth said, Frankie operated the breaker. But we were not responsible for Knightley's murder. What? Roland, whatever do you mean? Judge Courtney, would the goddess of law hear my confession? The goddess of law is merciful. She will absolve you. I was being threatened. That's why I had no choice but to do as I was told. So, who was threatening you? Sir Doggett, that assassin, that assassino. Doggett? It's been going on since that man came to the prison. I will never forget that day. Ba-da-bam. When we were both alone, he suddenly said to me, I have many dogs outside the prison. Dogs? Loyal dogs who obey my every command. I soon realized that what Doggett referred to were not really dogs, but as human henchmen. And that's not all he said. You'd better watch how you treat me, if you don't want you and your family to become dog food. Oh my. I had no choice. I gave him the special cell. I gave him anything he desired. Well, now we've got motive. Now that's the motive you wanted. You don't mean the supplier. That's right. Anything he ordered, I would deliver to him. An underground dealership. I was the one who won over Frankie. It was simple. I just offered him special privileges within the prison. And these underground dealings? Once a week in the middle of the night, Frankie would shut off 2 of the breakers. So I can move from my office to the courtyard without being seen by the security cameras. I would go past the fence and drop the goods down the well near the prison. And then I'd sprinkle this perfume over it. So that's the true identity of the sweet scent. Oh, I thought it was the apples. I guess I'm wrong. The scent of perfume was a signal for Doggin's dog. After picking up the scent, it would carry the goods to Doggin. Of course, this had to be done while Elbert was away from his cell. I'm surprised he never found out about it, pal. We have a strict timetable here at the prison. Mealtime, exercise time. It's easy to know when he's away from his cell. And since little Rocky is afraid of Doggin's dog, I didn't have to worry about him making noise. So, having full knowledge of the prison's inner workings, she made the deliveries herself. This would have ensured there were no slip-ups. Frankie would turn the breakers back on in the early morning, and the delivery was complete. I then modified the timestamp on the security camera. You have told us a great deal. The goddess of law accepts your penitent confession. As the warden of the prison, how could I have done such a foolish thing? The day Knightley was killed was also a delivery day. It seems Frankie was working the breakers as usual. But that day I had nothing to send, so I did not go to the courtyard at all. The secret of the supply system. So then Warden Roland was. The police have been searching for Doggin's henchmen for ages. I've also been helping them, but... I've been interrogating him personally in my office, but... No matter how much evidence we have on him, we can't get a single word out of him. So the reason you kept on interrogating him? Yes, it was to find his henchmen. I borrowed all the evidence from the police and carried out the interrogation myself. I kept an eye on all his actions and examined all of his mail. Like his correspondence chest letters. But I could never uncover the true identity of his henchmen. This fear, it's something you could never understand. Prosecutor Edgeworth, you were listening, right? I'd say this confession clears the warden of all suspicion. No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? What about the perfume smell? Is it really necessary to press her further than this? Is it necessary? You're damn right it's necessary! Judge Courtney, my questioning isn't over yet. I'm sure the goddess of law isn't satisfied yet either. You mean to badger this woman further? Even if she was threatened by Doggin, this does not prove she was not the culprit in this case. She was able to use the supply route to transport Knightley's body. Do you have any evidence to support this? The body gave off a sweet scent. The scent of perfume that was used to signify delivery. Can you explain this fact? Oh, of course. Since I have made so many deliveries, the scent would have lingered around the well. When the body was moved through the well, the scent would have transferred to it. Mr. Albert also testified to this fact. That's it. For some reason, that well gave off a nice scent. I don't know what it was, but it smelled sweet like candy. The lingering scent in the well would, of course, be picked up by anything passing through. The defense rests, I see. In that case, court is adjourned. Mr. Edgeworth, isn't there anything we can do? What should I do? Is this as far as I can go? Is it over already? Yes, Sebastian, it is. And now, court is officially adjourned. Who was that? Oh yeah, People's Court. It's not nice of you to adjourn things just like that, Courtney Pie. Mr. Shields, are you objecting to the court adjourning? Heh, of course not. I ain't got no objection or anything like that. Go ahead and adjourn court. Do whatever you like. What are you doing, Mr. Shields? Whoa there, calm down, Kay. Who wants some chocolate? Is this a joke? You'll have to excuse me, I just have one tiny request to make. As Simon Keyes' attorney. That's right, you're the defense attorney in charge of this case, aren't you? Exactly. Did you all forget? That's so mean. But you just left everything to Mr. Edgeworth and didn't do anything at all. That's right. That's why. I thought I'd do my job a bit. Do your job? That hardly sounds like you at all. It's to prepare for the trial. I'd like to ask the warden a few questions. Surely you jest. What more would you expect to hear from her? Well, Miss Warden, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the culprit. My thoughts? Uncle Ray believes that Simon is not the culprit. It seems that Miss Warden also suspects someone other than Simon. I'd like to hear you out. Mr. Edgeworth, what's Mr. Shields up to? He's trying to lure Warden Roland into testifying. Why was the supply route used to transport the body? I'd say it was to pin the crime on Doggin. I see! If he committed a murder here, he would be transferred to another prison. One with tighter security. And that would get rid of the troublemaker. Exactly. She wouldn't pass up a chance like that. Hold on a sec. A culprit besides Simon? What do you mean? Simon was the one I was supposed to prosecute. Exactly, so wouldn't it be better if DeBest also listened to what she has to say? Amazing, Mr. Shields. You managed to drag Mr. DeBest into this too. Warden Roland, is this acceptable? Oh, it's fine. You understand a woman's heart. Thank you, mademoiselle. Actually, I've thought this over. I'd like to tell you my thoughts. You'll let me speak, won't you, Justine, darling? Of course, you may speak. Mr. Shields, awesome! That was a close shave. Thank you, Mr. Shields. No, I'm still leaving the rest to you. Remember what I said? A defense attorney never gives up. The fate of our client rests on our shoulders after all. It'd be uncool if Uncle Ray didn't put that into practice. Now then, Miles, it's your turn to show you'll never give up. Right. Well then, will you listen to my story? And with that, let's end this video here. So stay tuned for the next one, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye!